After game one, the Milwaukee Bucks could have said, well, we just didn't make enough shots. One of the best three-point shooting teams in the league. Shoots under 20% for a game, you're probably going to lose. Game two seems like the Milwaukee Bucks are just outclassed right now by the Brooklyn Nets. They lose 125-86. Not a misprint. Joining me now from Locked On Bucks, Kane Pitman. And Kane, down 0-2. We've seen the Bucks on the other end of this look like world beaters, up 0-2 and go on to lose the series. Where does this Milwaukee team turn to try and get this turned around?
It's hard to say. I mean, you mentioned it. The Bucks have been in this position before and lost the position that Brooklyn are in. And I think generally, if you go down 2-0 in a series, you can take some positives to bring home with you. At the moment, through two games, because even game one that was an 8-point loss was not that close, it's really, really hard right now to find a single positive on either end of the floor from the Bucks. So whether or not they can wipe the slate clean and figure some things out, but I don't know whether it's offense, I don't know whether it's defense. It's all over the floor right now. I mean, they simply look like a team that is completely outmatched by the Brooklyn Nets.
What is particularly confounding about all of this is they looked so good against a Miami Heat team that beguiled them in the bubble last year. This was supposed to be their bugaboo team. A lot of people picked the Heat, and after the Bucks won that game, it was, oh, this might be the best team in the East. And now they come into this series. There were people picking the Bucks to win this series. Right now, that seems pretty ridiculous given what we've seen through two games. So what do you think it was that the Bucks could have done that they aren't doing, or what has not coalesced here for Milwaukee? Because a lot of people really did think they could win this series.
Yeah, one of the things I mentioned a number of times on Locked On Bucks in the lead up to game one was that I thought when you look at the defensive personnel the Bucks have, they probably have the individual defenders that on paper give you as good a chance as anyone against this Brooklyn team. But the one warning that I continually said is try not to drink the Kool-Aid too much from that Miami series, because despite what you're hearing, that team is terrible. The Miami Heat are just a bad team, and the Bucks took care of a bad team, and now you come up against the Brooklyn Nets, and I think we've seen the difference. The big thing that stands out to me, particularly defensively, is that against Miami, the two best players for the Heat in Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo allergic to shooting threes, which allowed Brook Lopez to camp in the paint and be a dominant force in that series. We're seeing the Nets completely pick apart Brook Lopez defensively in pick and roll scenarios, putting him in screen action, and the Bucks haven't countered that. So when you're coming up against Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving and not Butler and Adebayo, they're going to hurt you. So they're getting the Bucks into rotation, either pulling up and knocking down a shot or making one pass, and it's just practice shooting from the outside right now. So it's not an easy question to answer, by the way. I mean, we're talking about the team that, could quite possibly roll through and win the title with ease this year. The scary thing is that James Harden has played 43 seconds. I mean, this team is ridiculous.
Quickly, before I let you go, is Coach Bud coaching for his livelihood in Milwaukee in this series?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he had a fantastic series against Miami. There's no doubt about that. I think he pulled all the right moves right throughout. You could probably lose to Brooklyn in a series and still come away and think that, look, he did a decent job. But to this point, we haven't seen anything that indicates that he's not going to be on the hottest of seats if this continues.